Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second chapter of Hash Talks on Sustainable Living and Minimalism. Today, I have with me Aviram Rozin, who moved to India in 2003 along with his wife with a sole aim to plant more trees. This humble idea took the form of a revolution when the couple went on to decide to cover some 70 acres of dry, arid land into a forest. Aviram is the founder of Sadhna Forest and he works for ecological revival, water conservation, and food security. He has also adopted to veganism as a way of life. Aviram, I heartily welcome you to Hash Talks, and I'm so glad that I'm going to have this conversation with you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so happy. Yeah, it's wonderful to share, and I hope people will enjoy.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, Aviram, usually it is not very easy for anybody to leave behind a very settled life, as we say, the way it is in usual social and economic terms. But you took that step. So I'm very eager to know that what was the turning point in your life that you decided that now you want to move towards uh, a sustainable living? What made you turn ways and pursue a different life altogether?
Okay, so I was a CEO of a medical device company, and I was enjoying what I was doing, but I felt that it's not fulfilling on some level that I didn't even understand, but I felt that something is missing. Um, it was difficult to leave it because I was successful. I was doing it and it was working and I was, earning money and all this. So I just found it difficult to let go. But then there was a trip to Thailand that my wife and I did. I actually had to go there for work, and she joined me. And for the first time, I saw people meditating, and I was very touched by this. And yeah, then I came back to Israel, and after a process between us, between Yorit, my wife, and I, we decided to go for 1 year of travels. This was in 97. And in most of 98, we traveled in Asia, in Thailand, in India, we lived in Nepal, in a very remote village. And then went back to Israel. Our daughter was born there and felt more ready. We became a vegetarian and then vegan in 1999, and um, and then felt more ready to move to India. Actually, originally we didn't move with the vision of reforestation or even sustainability. The vision was more centered about on spiritual growth, uh, um, and then it sort of evolved to include sustainability later when we moved to Auroville, and we worked in an organic farm. We volunteered in an organic farm, and then we came across the issues of sustainability, and then it started sort of becoming part of our sadhana, part of our path. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned sadhana. I just want to know, a deeper meaning about why did you choose to name your project as Sadhana Forest?
Um, we named it Sadhna Forest because we see the main aim of this activity that we are doing is spiritual growth. And of course,
Mhm.
the forest is very important, but it's just one expression of the compassion, of the understanding that we have. And um, so even the name is Sadhana Forest. It's first the sadhana, and then the forest is the expression of that. And sadhana is from a Sanskrit word that means the archer. So the archer is a sort of a symbol for a focus on the truth, because when you shoot the bow and arrow, you're very focused on one point, and that point in this analogy is the truth. So we felt, yeah, we have seen enough falsehood in our life, a lot, enough different things that were not really perceived by us as useful or good for people, for the planet, and now it's time to focus on the truth.
Right.
And what could be better than a forest to do that? Because you know, a forest has been always the cradle of spiritual growth for so many people, especially in India. So we said, okay, we'll first create the forest because there was no forest here, and then we will do our sadhana through making the forest and by living in it.
Right. Aviram, you mentioned about compassion, and I just want to mention, as we are talking about this, I had the opportunity to listen to you in one of the events held back in my city, as I told you earlier also. And over there, you said that every activity that is done in Sadhana Forest is with a lot of love and care. And you specifically said, if I can just quote you, that even if you use a stone, you do it, you use it, or if you're chiseling it, you do it with a lot of love, a lot of compassion. So what I was perceiving, this probably is your sadhana towards, like, your walk towards, you're going towards sadhana, and I think it gives a very strong and a very pure message. Having said that, I really know that converting a dry land into forest would be a big challenging task. What were those challenges that you faced while pursuing this, and any methods or
Yeah.
techniques which normal people can also adopt when they are uh, planting trees around, or planting small saplings or something that you'd like to share?
Sure. Let me just go back to the issue of compassion for two
Yeah.
sentences, if you don't mind, because it's
Yes,
very
yes, of
important.
course.
I think everybody in the world wants to be compassionate. I mean, if you ask people, do you want to be compassionate or do you want to be cruel? They will all say, no, I want to be compassionate, of course. The question is how to turn that will to be
Hmm.
compassionate into action, how to engineer your life in a way that it will be compassionate. So, as you mentioned, using stone that has been chiseled by hand and not exploded by explosives from the quarry, or interacting with animals, or the food that we choose to eat, or how to actually live compassionately. And this is I feel the role of Sadhna Forest is to expose people to a model, one model. It's not the ultimate model in any way, but it's one model of compassionate living, which tries to encompass many aspects of living
Hmm.
in a compassionate way. Interactions with people, accepting people as they are, not being judgmental, not being competitive, many things. And yeah, we hope that you'll join us, and many others will join us in living compassionately and seeing how it feels. Regarding the methods of reforestation and what is my sort of advice, um, in arid lands like the ones that Sadhna Forest is trying to reforest, the main challenge, that is the main obstacle for reforestation, is water.
Hmm.
Basically, if you have water in the soil, it becomes fertile, but in our place. But if you don't have water, there is no fertility. So what we have to do is basically do water conservation. So to keep the water on the land. And we use different principles for this. The main principle is called the triple S's. So slow,
Hmm.
spread, and sink. So
Okay.
we slow the water, the movement of the water on the land. We spread it as wide as possible, so all areas will be fertile, not just a pond in the bottom of the land, but
Hmm.
all land will be lush. And we sink it into the ground, so plants could enjoy it, but also that some of it would eventually reach the aquifer, the underground water table, and would support people and plants as well. So using these triple S's and different techniques. The main technique that we use is called swales. So SWALE, swale is a form of a trench, a very specific form of a trench that is dug on the contour of the land, and helps us turn it into a forest. And if you do that swale in arid lands, you are guaranteed to have massive natural regeneration. So even if you don't plant anything, if you do the swale right on contour, in the right intervals, in the right depth, in the right way, step by step, it's a very technical process, then you are guaranteed to have massive natural regeneration, which will be initiated by birds, by rodents, by mammals. They will all come, bring you seeds, free service, free seva. They will come to drink the water from the swale and bring the seeds with them. And you'll have a beautiful forest. There are areas that we didn't plant here. We just did swales on contour on the same topographical height, so the water doesn't flow in the trenches, and then it became beautiful forest. So this is my main advice is, before you plant any tree, do the water conservation properly before you build anything, because whatever you do on the land that is not water conservation will disturb your water conservation work.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And Aviram, what were the challenges that you faced when you came here and when you started to take over this whole project?
So many challenges. I mean, we never knew anything about planting trees. I came from another world and I didn't know anything about planting trees. So ignorance was a very big challenge. The physical conditions, I mean, especially extreme events like Cyclone Tani and other smaller cyclones that we had that were very powerful and destroyed a lot of the infrastructure. And just adjusting even to the weather. For me, it was very, very difficult to adjust to the heat. So it took me about 4 to 5 years just to feel really comfortable with my body. So yeah, but with a lot of love for India, a lot of motivation, a lot of great relationships with local people, I think everything worked out. And really, one of the things that strengthened us the most and gave us the most motivation was the reactions of the people from the villages around.
Right. So, speaking of the local community in the villages around, in what way are they involved in the activities of Sadhna Forest? What is their contribution? What is something more that you desire to have, not only from local community, but probably from everyone around?
Yeah, I mean, just to give a little bit of a context of this area, we are a few kilometers north of Pondicherry. So we are in an area that is going through massive urbanization. When we came here 18 years ago, it's much more rural than it is now. Many people have sold their land to developers, and things are changing rapidly here. We are working a lot with local children. So we have a project called Children's Land, Sadhna Forest Children's Land, in which children come and they plant and they play in nature and they learn about nature and they enjoy nature and just relax from all the studies and all the pressure and have a great time. So that's happening. They're coming every week for at least 1 year. So it's an agreement with the school or the orphanage or whoever, wherever they are engaged, that they will come for at least 1 year, once a week. And that's going on for many years. I think now maybe 13 years or something, 12 or 13 years, and it's been going really well. So Dalit children and Gypsy children and many orphans, local children as well from the villages just nearby. We have the tea hut in which we serve free tea vegan tea based on coconut
Okay.
milk and herbs
Oh,
and ladus. And this is the community center for all the villages around us. Now,
okay.
because of COVID, we had to close. But normally, when it was open before COVID, every day 40 to 100 people came to have tea with us.
Oh, okay.
So it was really amazing. Many ladies came with their children. The children played. They had tea and laddu. It was very, very
Yeah.
sweet. My thinking about the relationship with local people is not what they can do for me, but what I can do for them.
Right.
Uh, but of course, there is collaboration.
Hmm.
You know, what is amazing that people have so much respect for the forest. We don't have a fence around most of the area. We don't have a fence, and nobody, steals firewood or brings their animals to graze. Or people are so respectful to our effort, and for me, it's very touching.
Right.
Many people, when they start a new project, they immediately they put a huge fence.
Hmm.
This is mine.
Right.
But this is not the way I work, and not the way I feel, and not the way I want to live with my neighbors. And you know I'm so thankful to them for understanding and respecting,
Right.
and supporting without fences.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you just mentioned about children coming and living in Sadhna Forest for a year, and so
No,
these.
no, no. I think there was a misunderstanding. They don't live in Sadhna Forest for a year. They come and visit once a week
Okay.
for a period of 1 year. So they
All
go
right.
to
All
school,
right.
let's say in an orphanage in Pondi, and once a week they come
Okay.
for a morning to Sadhna Forest. Yeah.
All right. All right.
There
All
are,
right.
there are families that live here with children that live for a year or
Yes.
more, but those children that come to Children's Land, they come once a week because they live in their
Right.
homes or in their orphanages.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So, what is a usual day at Sadhna Forest? What does a normal day at Sadhna Forest look like?
Early wake up.
Right.
So around 5:30, and at 6 o'clock we meet at the morning circle. And
Hmm.
from the morning circle, we go to the forest and
Hmm.
do what needs to be done. It can be water conservation, it can be mulching, watering, planting, whatever is relevant for the season. And then breakfast at 9.
Hmm.
And then after that, we have the second seva.
Hmm.
So the second seva is mainly in the community, so cooking lunch, maintaining all the cleanliness of the place, and the toilet, dry composting toilets, and making all the household works. We don't
Right.
have
Right.
ladies helping and doing it for us. We do it ourselves. And then lunch, and then volunteers are either free to do what they want, or sometimes they have duties like cooking dinner or goshala. We have cows. We're not milking them because we are vegan, but we're just saving them from slaughter. These are cows that were in the milk industry and were destined to be slaughtered when they give no milk.
All right.
But instead of slaughter, we bring them here and we give them a really great time. You should come
Right.
and
Right.
see them. They look so happy and shiny and big and
Yeah.
good.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
so that needs taking care of as well. And in the evenings, we have different activities. So on Monday, we have a core value talk in which one of us talks about one of the core values of Sadhna Forest. On Wednesday, we have an open stage. Tuesday, we have sharing.
Okay.
So people can share about what they feel. Wednesday, we have open stage, or we call it non-talent show, in which people can perform and get supported by everybody. It's very beautiful, and many people discovered their talents and their passions in this evening every Wednesday. Thursday is the night out. We usually don't have dinner in the community. Friday,
Hmm.
we have the Eco Film Club. So people come at 4:30 here, and they have a tour of the place. then they watch an environmental film, and then they have a vegan dinner, and it's all free. It's all gift.
Okay.
They don't pay anything, including the dinner and everything. Yeah, so that's sort of our weekly schedule, and people are here and they enjoy each other's company, and they enjoy the diversity.
Right.
The fact that people come here from more than 50 countries every year, and from all states of India. Every single
Yes.
state of India was represented here many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have seen a few videos of all the activities being done at Sadhna Forest, and I saw one video in which I was so happy seeing that there was a group of people coming together. People don't know each other, but they are dancing, singing, and sleeping beneath stars and huts, and it was really like it was very lively. What is
Yeah.
the yeah? What is the future?
It's about happiness, it's about happiness,
Exactly.
and compassion leads to happiness, you
Right.
know. Um,
Right, right. So, where do you see Sadhana Forest going further? What are the activities that you would want to expand into, or what is the future of Sadhana Forest?
hmm. Uh, the future is growth. We can see that it's growth inside and outside. I mean, we're all growing internally, but the organization is also growing in terms of activities. This year and early next year, we'll be starting 3 new centers. So we have 3 centers
Yeah,
now: one
yeah,
here in Tamil Nadu, one in Haiti, and one in Kenya.
yes.
And we're starting 3 more centers, one in Meghalaya, one in Kasi, one in Garo, and one in Jaintia,
Okay,
in the 3 tribal regions of Meghalaya. So yeah, so that's the near future of basically doubling our organization,
right.
size. And the future hopefully holds many more Sadhana forests, many more trees planted, many more animals saved,
Yeah,
and many more happy people. Yeah.
right, right. Aviram, this would be my last question to you. Uh,
Sure.
how important do you think is for everybody to adopt to minimalism and live a life which promotes sustainability?
Um, when we say minimalism, we might scare people
Yeah,
because they would think, oh, I have to be minimal, I have to be small, I have to be suffering. No, no. Minimalism is just consciousness, is just awareness. So when you buy something, you buy a table, let's say. So you can buy it from sustainably harvested wood. There is
right.
a little, tag on it. Or you
Mm,
can buy just from old trees in the jungle that will be deforested for your table. When you
right.
eat, you can eat meat, which requires a lot of water and a lot of
Mm,
land, and you can eat vegan. So it's just little choices that don't lead you to be a minimalist, but a maximalist
right.
of consciousness, of awareness, of happiness,
Right.
and of care for others. Because uh, you know. We're already seeing the suffering that is inflicted by global warming. We already see what is going on in developing countries and in developed countries, in Germany, in Canada,
Yeah.
in Belgium. In the last 1 month, we've seen terrible
Yeah.
tragedies.
Yeah.
So it's going to hit everybody. It's going to hit
Mm,
everybody, and we need to be aware and to maximize our care and understanding of how this phenomena works and what we can actually do to slow it down.
right.
And the easiest thing, of course, is food, because that's something you do 3 times a day. And just
Mm,
being aware that your food is local, that your food is less based on animals, would go such a long way to reduce greenhouse gases, to reduce the use of fossil fuels.
Right. And the entire thing probably is a collective effort. So maybe a few hundreds doing it won't make much difference. This is what I personally feel. And I think a collective effort would bring a huge impact. So,
A collective effort, I agree with you, but it always starts with the individual.
right.
If I say to myself, I won't change until you change,
Yeah.
uh, the collective effort will never happen. So
Right.
I have to change today. You have to change today without expecting me to do anything, and then it will become a collective.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because we always want to trust, big corporations,
Hmm.
establishments, governments to decide and to do, and they can't do it. It's only we can do it. They can't do it for us. We
Right.
have to make our own personal decisions: what we eat, what we buy, how we live, how we travel, and then things will change.
Correct. Right. Okay, Aviram, thank you so much for having this conversation with me.
Thank
I
you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. I really, really had a great time, and there are there is so much to learn, and there is so much to ponder upon after talking to you. And probably all the people who are watching this might also take inspiration from your work. Thank you so much.
I hope so. Please come and visit us in Sadhna Forest.
Okay, bye
Thank you.
bye, Aviram.
Bye
Thank you.
bye. Bye. Bye.